Hello, everybody, and welcome to Couch Muscle. I am joined with my very good friend today, Ethan.
How's it going, everybody?
And we're going to be talking about Andy Signor and his accuser of sexual assault and misconduct, April Dawn. And we just made a video about his response to her accusations yesterday, and today she has responded to his video, so we decided that we'd kind of break that
Just
down
as
a
we
little bit
promised
too.
in our video, we would talk about it, and we're here to give you guys an update on exactly what she had to say, and I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
If you guys want full context, please go watch that Andy Signor video as we broke down pretty much everything that's going on and everything that he seemed to cover in that video, seemingly debunking that there were no acts of... a lot of the things he was accused of weren't true, apparently.
Yeah.
But it's also abundantly clear by other stuff that I've read into and other things that I've watched. There was someone on the Christian Harloff podcast, a woman, that definitely said what he was doing was over the top.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's criminal. Mm-hmm. So that's just kind of the point that I also wanted to get across.
Yeah.
Andy Signor is not a saint, apparently.
Absolutely not.
But there's a difference between what he did and it being illegal and just creepy and wrong. There's a difference there. And like we said, we're going to keep you guys updated, and this is his accuser responding to that video. When I came forward a few years ago, I knew everything that was displayed in the video today could be made public. I decided to go forward regardless because I wanted to make sure no harm would come to any more women. I was ready then, and I'm ready now to take the hits, comments, or criticism you can throw at me because at the end of the day, I know my truth and what I did was right. I was a teenager and I made mistakes and I've had to live with them. I'm not giving any more of my time or energy to this. I'm moving on for my own mental health. Thanks to all of those who continue to support me as I learn and grow. So there's a few things that we can point out here that are really important, and I think honestly the statement is interesting because it points more in favor to everything that Andy Signor had to say, because she never once in here says that her original statement is true and that what he said was incorrect or wrong.
It sounds very much as if it's a confession to lying in her original accusations.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she says that she knows her truth. And that's kind of weird because it's like there isn't anybody's individual truth. There is only the truth, you know? So I feel like that's something that happens today a lot, though, where it's like you could just trust somebody more because it's like they have more of the victim appeal and you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But you can't just say, like, this is what I think is true, no matter what is actually true, and then have that be the new norm, you know?
The whole thing, if what she said, which was the main sexual assault thing, if there was like a toy involved and he tried to forcefully put that in her without her consent, that's like sexual assault. And that's something that either didn't happen or it did happen.
Yeah.
It's not like in her truth it did happen and in his truth it didn't happen. That happened or it didn't. There's no middle ground with that. So I think it's really interesting. I don't know when she says here that she made mistakes if she's talking about strictly the affair that she had or whether or not she is lying.
Yeah. Because
which is very much on purpose.
If she says it in the wake of his video addressing all the accusations and says, like, I've made mistakes, it sounds like she's admitting that she was a little bit like...
She embellished.
Yeah, she embellished.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I wish that we could all know the truth. I feel like... I don't want to act like I'm in her head, but I feel like if Andy Signor really had done those things, she would have reiterated that he did do those things.
Yeah, absolutely. She would have played that whole card where it's like, I'm not the liar here. There's one monster and it's him. It's not me.
Yes.
But she doesn't do anything to defend her statements originally.
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
And the way it is right now is it just seems like two people that each themselves did a really awful thing to one another, which is really sad. It doesn't seem like there's one completely right or wrong person here. Andy Signor it's pretty much confirmed that he was a creep. To what regard he was a creep, we don't know. And then also, if this woman lied about this, that's awful too. There is wrong on both sides. And I feel like Andy Signor says that he believes that she came out against him because she wanted to secure her place within the company and wanted to get rid of him however she could. And that she even accepted donations following this and all this stuff. And it's just really sad that money and fame and popularity brings people to this point. It's so tragic.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it seems like, in my opinion, that Andy Signor is a little bit more on the right here, honestly. Not that it's appropriate at all to cheat on your wife or just generally be a creep, but it's like if you saw the evidence that he provides that he didn't do anything to that girl, and like even stuff when like she was talking about how she met like another guy and he was even like super supportive of that, like, oh, I'm really happy for you, like I think you guys would be like great together, all that stuff. And then for her to just go out and destroy his career is kind of, I don't know, I feel like she did more wrong. But at the same time, though, you do want to stop people that are just kind of naturally creepy like that. Andy Signor is like the kind of guy that definitely would have a hard time getting women, I feel like, until he gets those levels of fame, success, all that.
Money.
Where now suddenly he has a little bit more appeal and a little bit more power, and he feels like he could maybe do that to women. So I can understand her trying to not have that advance onto other people, but I think this is kind of a terrible way to go about it, because you can't make anything better by lying about it, you know?
It could, I don't know. I see what you're saying exactly, where it's like in her mind, it's like he's a creep and I outed him for what I had to do. I had to say what I had to say to protect other women.
Yeah.
But it's still wrong if there was nothing illegal going on. You could have gone about this in a much more intelligent way without lying, and you could have had similar impact, I think.
Yeah.
You could have said, like, he acts very inappropriately. I had an affair with him. Instead, it's kind of like when you tell a story and there's a story that makes you sound bad, it's human nature to want to change that story to make you sound as, like, angelic as possible.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense, her original mindset. It could have been her main goal just to have this stay like within company, and I know she made it public, but maybe not quite as like national and international headlines as she expected.
Yeah. And I believe that when she first came out too, she was anonymous. But to lie about what somebody does, like, that reputation will forever be a thing associated with Andy Signor and his entire family, as he pointed out in the original video that he had made. Like, his children will probably hear about that forever, and the company that he created will suffer for it for probably ever. Not necessarily like monetarily, but just as far as a reputation goes. I'm sure that like when people are employed to screen junkies, that there's probably concern about stuff like that. Just like I imagine there was when Fox News had that problem. So you should never lie to try to make a situation better. You should just be honest and do whatever you can in your power to at least hold your own integrity, which I don't really think April did. But that being said, we're still fairly much in the dark about everything. For all we know, Andy could have still done things like this. He could have
done everything like that.
Yeah.
And April just wants to not talk about it. And that's a possibility. It doesn't look like that right now.
Yeah.
But you have to keep all avenues open.
Absolutely.
Until you have complete truth.
Because anybody could be capable of doing these things. Because, like, look at Bill Cosby. The least suspicious man you would ever think could do anything is the most prolific serial rapist in human history, or at least in our day. Probably not as bad as like Genghis Khan or something like that.
Yeah.
But like you can't just assume that nobody's capable of doing anything bad. This is just our opinions based on the evidence that have been provided as of lately. But I think that's basically all we have to say about the subject.
Yeah, if you guys, it seemed like the last video got some views, like some people watched. So we'll continue to cover it if it keeps getting, I guess, if people watch and are interested, we'll continue to cover it. And if not, we'll try to follow it up with something a little bit more lighthearted, like all the retards going out to Area 51.
Yeah, man. Like, when is that happening? Sometime soon. I don't remember. But 1 million people in America are going to die soon, guys. So maybe we'll talk about it. All right. Thank you for listening, everybody.
I don't care if he has the text messages to prove the relationship was consensual. She still stands by what she said. okay? She still says that she did nothing wrong and that everything she said was true, and you should believe her because she's a woman.